Hello, welcome to wedding day vlog. So on the day itself we will have a videographer, but this is just for all the preparation for the actual wedding day. I wasn't going to start this video until way later, so like after all the pre-wedding events were done, but I just received my package for my bridal party presents, so I'm going to present them to my maid of honor and bridesmaids on the day of the wedding. And I opened the box up and I couldn't resist actually unboxing it in front of you guys properly, so I thought may as well start the video now. We have currently been engaged for 1.5 months, so we're obviously way away from the wedding, but I just want to kind of create like boxes for each event in my room. Like I'll get a storage box for the bridal shower and a storage box for the wedding day, and that way by the time both events roll around, I can basically just bring the box downstairs or to wherever we are setting the items up. I got these off an Instagram account called Amour by Fleur. So even before I was engaged, I wanted the wedding day gifts to be basically like personalized perfume, their name and also the wedding date, for example. And they were all so expensive just to kind of make like custom perfumes. Like there's workshops for them, or if you just want to build one online and get it sent to you. I saw some for like $350 and I was like, that's really expensive because it means times 4 whatever the price is. So I stumbled across this Instagram page. Thank goodness for Instagram ads, honestly, because they track my cookies so hard and they know exactly what I'm looking for. But I basically found this amazing Sydney-based company. So they do like little personalized perfumes. I didn't get like the exact kind of personalization. Like it's not like I built each one individually according to the person, but I did choose out of the scents that she had and tried to choose like the one that I thought suited the person the most. I actually even went on another website beforehand just to get everyone's kind of perfume personality. So like some of them were more musky, some of them were more feminine. And then I basically just took the quizzes from the perspective of my friends. And then that's how I came up with which perfume to choose for them. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. I also forgot to add, I basically also sent her my design for the sticker to add on top, and I just made that quickly on Canva. Unfortunately, she can only print black and white, but I was like, honestly, it does look more classy anyway. So, oh my gosh. Here is Maddie's, Julia's, Anna's, and Phoebe's. They are on the smaller side, but I do want to let you guys know they were all up, including the shipping, printing the sticker, the perfumes themselves, and even choosing like, you know, which scent each person would have, was only $50, which is insane. I never expected my bridal party gifts to actually cost that little. Like I was budgeting maybe about $250 or $300, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's already on the really minimal side. But I'm so glad that I stumbled across this account. I could even choose the ribbon color. Like, isn't that insane that all 4 were actually $50 for such like a personalized process as well? Like I got emails back from them pretty fast too. So I'm really glad. Check out Amour by Fleur if you want to get little gifts like that. They do sell other types of gifts too, not just these perfumes, but it was a pretty easy process as well. Like they explained everything on the website and like how to order and whatever. So I would recommend. They are really cute. I'm very glad. I'm going to the Sydney markets today. This is my first time going, and I thought I may as well vlog this because even though the wedding is 10 months away, we are going to be doing our own florals. So we have a team of 9 friends, which is amazing. I'm really grateful that all of them could pitch in, but they each have 3 groups of 3 within them. So one of them that we are doing florals with on the Friday, so the day before the wedding, is called the wedding party team, and they're doing the bouquets and the boutonnieres. And because we're all going to the flower markets together, them 3 plus Bill and I, we're going to be the ones preparing the flowers, because I've heard from friends who've done DIY flowers for their weddings that you have to basically cut off all the thorns, have to shorten the stems, all that kind of jazz. It doesn't just come ready. I have a lot to learn. I've been trying to give myself crash courses, trying to bookmark different floral equipment we have to buy. Like there's flower foam. So when you look at a vase, you actually don't just put it into water, just like how you would put a bouquet into a vase whenever you receive a bouquet of flowers. It's actually in flower foam. That foam is soaked into water first, which I think is like absorbed into it so that there's still like a water source for the flowers. And then you actually stick it in there, and that's what actually keeps the shape of the flowers and makes them kind of stick out without actually falling out. So that's what I didn't realize about florists. Like there's actually a lot more to it than I expected. short update on the wedding planning. So we're 9 months away now, which is insane to say. Literally 9 months this week, actually. And we have currently done the ceremony invites. Not everyone, because some people are from overseas. And my uncle wants to talk through formalities on how to write an invite for them and all this kind of jazz. So not everyone has been invited, but we've definitely gotten some no RSVPs already. So we're working on actually getting people from the reserve list and then replacing them, because we really do want the 500 guests to come to the ceremony. Like, we would love to have a big one and just fill up the whole church, because 500 is their capacity. Then we're going to work on the reception list separately. This is definitely not what you're usually meant to do. Like, you do have to usually sort out all the invites and then invite who you want to invite to both, who you want just at the ceremony and all that. But we were just like, honestly, the ceremony was so stressful already. Like, it took us about a month to actually organize it properly. And that's not including from scratch. Like, I had a main list from like ages ago, probably years ago at this point, so not counting that either. But we're going to basically do the reception list by prioritizing travelers, then relatives, then mutuals, then other friends. That will be fun. We're going to start that this coming week at our next weekly meeting about it. I personally am kind of burnt out from wedding planning at the moment. Like, obviously I'll pick it back up again later, but I feel like I'm just not as into it as I was when we first got engaged, because I feel like now that the wedding invites are out, I guess it's like out in the public, and like, this is our date, our venue, our time. So I feel like it's more confirmed in a sense. I'm not really into doing all the little details this week, especially because my work is getting busier. I feel like with my job, it's basically something like 3 weeks are busy and then a fortnight isn't as busy. Currently, I'm in the second out of the 3 weeks of being busy, I feel. So gonna try and just get things done properly when it comes to work, and trying to make it a priority so that I do use my spare time to wedding plan instead of doing the other way around, because otherwise my work will just pile up. And the most work I've ever had is around 120 tasks to do at one time. And that was a lot, obviously just so stressful in that period. I took leave in that period. There was a main conference in that period, and it just wasn't the best time. So I don't want to get to that extent again. And I haven't for the last few months actually. So I'm proud of myself for that. I just wanted to pop in and say that that is the progress we've made with the invite list, because a lot of people get stressed about that. Honestly, the fact that we have submitted the invite list a couple months into being engaged is already pretty impressive. Like, I feel like people sometimes send out the invites only like half a year or even less in advance, depending on how chill they are or how small the wedding is. But we have so many relatives from overseas. We just want to notify them to actually show them that we're giving them enough time to book their flights and accommodation if they do want to come. We also have some coming from interstate, people who study interstate, for example, but would fly back on the Friday for us, or people who are just family friends from interstate who we haven't seen in a while, but we're like old friends with. So I have invited them too. I've pretty much invited every man and their dog at this point. I know a lot of people, especially these days, really want intimate weddings. Like, they really want just the people they genuinely want there. But we actually want everyone there, if that makes sense. Like, we actually always wanted a large wedding. And for the reception, it's obviously going to be more intimate, but it still won't be small. Like, it's still going to be pretty big anyway. It's just that there'll be less people than there will be at the ceremony. So a couple quick updates. So this morning, woke up with still a bit of maybe the moisturizer from overnight in my eye. And I still haven't been doing eye makeup on my eyelids due to the skin burns from the last about 8 months. And I'm just worried about it for my wedding. I know that it's still 9 months away, so definitely more time to go than there has been with these reactions. But the fact that my eyelids still haven't healed and the rest of my face is currently fine is really frustrating. I just don't know what I'm doing wrong, because every time it's eyeshadow, it gets really itchy and inflamed. And even when I just leave a bit of moisturizer, like maybe here, and I'm lying on my side at night, I wake up with a lot of product inside my eye. And so it gets really irritated. But the funny thing is, I've noticed that it also tends to expand my eyelid. Like, it's almost like my eyelid right now is actually also infected by last night. So it could be some mystery product that is just somehow infecting my eye again. I wanted to have a check of comparing the maid of honor dress to the bridesmaid one, just because my sister's wearing something different as maid of honor. And I have been looking at the site that I got these dresses from, called Billy J Boutique, based in the Sunshine Coast, Queensland, for the last couple years, like ever since I started planning my wedding in more detail. And I thought to myself, maybe let's just compare the shades just in case. Let me tell you guys, this color is called steel blue, so specific. Like, you would expect that any dress from the store labeled steel blue is the same shade. They are totally different. So Maddie's is a purple gray and the bridesmaids is a blue, green, gray, almost like a swampy color, and I don't really like it. It almost looks silver, but not like they tried to make it a nice silver. So I'm not really impressed. I messaged the company on Instagram and also emailed customer service, and I really want to get a refund. The only issue is that even if I get a refund, because we do like Maddie's dress, that means that I'll have to buy another steel blue dress from the store in order for them to match. From a clearer point of view, I can see that there are 4 other designs that are the same shade as Maddie's. Well, I hope, because honestly, I don't trust them anymore. But that's the thing. I don't really want to support this boutique anymore because of how misleading I feel like this situation is. But also, if we want the same shade as Maddie's dress and we don't want to look for another dress manually from another website because steel blue is just so specific, then we're gonna have to buy it from this store again. So just a warning to put out there, Billy J Boutique, if anyone's looking into it, it looks great, but in the end it is fast fashion. And so the fact that they have so many different shades in steel blue, because I did look again and they don't just have these 2 shades, they have about 4 shades that they call steel blue. And I'm like, you would surely expect your customers to see that as the same shade just because steel blue is so specific. Like if they just labeled them all blue, then my eye would probably be able to tell the difference because blue is very like broad. But because it said steel blue, I just trusted that even if the photos looked a bit different, they have studio, natural lighting, videos. So obviously it can vary. And so I didn't really think much of it. So the fact that it just turned out so different, like totally different colors, is kind of annoying me, and we're gonna have to look for other bridesmaid dresses, as well as if we can't get a refund or whatever. I don't know how I'm gonna sort this out with my bridesmaids because we have split the cost into half, and obviously I don't really want them to pay for something that is not their fault, but at the same time it means I'll have to cop the price and we are on a low budget, so I don't really know what I'm gonna do with that. But this is just frustrating because I thought that the bridesmaid dresses were sorted and that I could just move on from it, as well as the invites, including the virtual and the event page, have all said, please don't wear steel blue because that's the theme color. Like that is literally the wedding party color now. And so the fact that we put that on all the invitations means that we're probably gonna have to stick to steel blue. And if we do change it, obviously it's fine. Like it's not a huge deal, but it's like, oh, everyone's gonna turn up and not see us in steel blue and be like, why couldn't we wear steel blue? Like I can notify people, of course, but with especially the virtual invites with like the older adults as well, like how am I going to get that message out there? Like, hey, by the way, change the color, please don't wear this new color. Like the adults will not care, and I'm sure that half of them won't even like receive that message. So I am just frustrated that I thought it was all sorted, and now I have to do this whole dilemma of like refunding and seeing if customer service even replies, because that's another thing. Like what if they just never reply and ignore my messages? So I am kind of frustrated. Please look out for Billy J Boutique. If you're looking at particular shades, please make sure that you look at the dresses that are actually the right ones, or just don't buy from them at all, because for me personally, when I have a bad experience with a store, I try not to go back again. So that's just my warning out there. The cutest delivery that came from Temu. We want to work on a diorama to present at the welcome table at both ceremony and reception, and that is a diorama that commemorates our loved ones who have passed away already, which is actually, as of now, our grandparents. This little tray came, it's so cute. We got the tray separately to the table and chairs, and this little noodle bowl we just happen to have as a magnet on a fridge. But isn't it so adorable? So it's like they're sitting at their own table. And we also bought this little slab of wood, which we're going to put a piece of paper in just explaining what it's for. Their names, or maybe even put a photo just on the seat part. But I think it's so adorable. Unfortunately, we do have to order more because we are anticipating some sad news soon. So we will have to order another set for some other grandparents. And unfortunately, it does mean that we won't have any grandparents at all present at our wedding, which is not how I imagined my future wedding at all. Like I genuinely thought we would have at least one elderly grandparent there. And unfortunately, it's not going to be the case, which I am still coming to terms with, sort of. Like I am sad about it. Bill's grandpas are overseas and they are both in their 80s and 90s, so very elderly, just too sick to actually come over. I don't have any of my grandpas anymore, but my grandmas are still alive. One of them RSVP'd no just because she feels too frail to to actually come, and the other one is currently in palliative care, so unfortunately she will not be able to make it at all. So it's really depressing and sad, but at least we are commemorating them in this way. It's a nice way to acknowledge the fact that we would have loved to have them all with us, but unfortunately can't. I just feel sometimes this overwhelming anxiety and just stress about the wedding. And for example, we were in IKEA for a couple hours and we basically passed the fake flower section, and I was like, what if I just bought bulk fake florals and just didn't bother at all with the flower markets and real ones? Like, who knows how they would turn out. I just feel sometimes so anxious when I think about how many things there are to do. I know that I have planned my wedding in detail for the last couple of years, but I still have so much to do, and that actually irks me so much, because also, even if I want to make a decision, just hit the ground running with it, I do have to ask Bill first for permission and what he thinks. And clearly it is a two-person thing. Obviously both of us are getting married, I get that, but also it does mean that if he doesn't have capacity, like if he's studying or if he's just really busy or doesn't feel like talking about the wedding, because girls just usually prefer talking about it more than the guy, like it means that I have to kind of wait and delay, and then it's always in the back of my mind. I talked to some friends the other day who are our age, also engaged, and who actually managed to buy an apartment, which is so incredible, but also makes me think, oh my gosh, we are so running behind, like we need to get on top of things. And it's just been such a trek. So Bill is actually still interviewing at the moment, and he does have a couple lined up, which hopefully he will get something. Just incredibly stressed sometimes, and so I just wanted to check in and let you guys know that sometimes like it's okay to feel these negative emotions when you're going through such a big life stage. I guess it's not that you jump straight from dating to married. Like the engagement period is why you prepare for marriage, and like you're preparing for not just the wedding but for the emotional and spiritual side of things, and to grow as a person too. And that's what I wanted during this period. Obviously that probably means I have to go through tough times to actually get there and to just be a better person in general. So I'm hoping this is one of those times where I'm kind of molded to someone who's more Christ-like and who just learns to trust God more. Sometimes it gets so frustrating though. Like sometimes in my head, I'm like, I don't want to listen to the Holy Spirit. I just want to do what I want and do how I feel right now. Even this morning on the phone, I got really angry at someone for work because I just genuinely was so irritated already by a number of things that had happened. And then that person on the phone was actually annoyed at me first for some reason. I don't think I did anything at first. Like he was irritated from the get-go of the call. And then I got really annoyed at him, and I actually didn't even say bye when I hung up. Like he ended the call with like, thank you for calling, have a good day. And I literally hung up. And I usually wouldn't do that. Even if I'm annoyed, I would still say bye or thanks, but I just could not take it. So I feel like today, especially Friday, has just been a whirlwind of emotion. These boxes behind me, which is everything I'm preparing for the next few wedding events, I'm actually gonna just put them outside, because outside, unfortunately, in the foyer of my staircase is now a storage space. We started to invite people to our reception last night after an argument and some crying. Half the time when I feel like I'm planning this wedding, I feel like I just want to just cry. Family, friends, and seeing how many of my overseas relatives actually want to come, because we doubt that they actually will. So there's that we have to adhere to. So basically the generation above can be really irritating when you're planning a wedding. Bill and other people are more like, no, this is more for the guests. Like, let's just do it because we want to celebrate with loved ones. And I'm like, at this point, it's low-key not loved ones with the amount of family friends or parents' friends who are coming. I was like, is it really our wedding anymore? There are also 4 other weddings on the same date as ours. So half of them are weddings we would have gone to, like we were invited to, and the other half are people who we don't know personally, at least I don't think I do, but a couple of our guests have to go to theirs instead because they're involved or they're closer to them, which is totally fair. And I'm not saying that everyone should come to ours. Obviously, it's totally up to the guests, but it's just like, it means we are competing against 4 other weddings, like in terms of guest count and who's coming to ours. Hello, my acne is so bad right now. Really hope it goes away before my engagement party, which is in a fortnight. But I wanted to unbox this letter from my cousin. I'm pretty sure she's London based, and her daughter can't make it to the wedding, which is so understandable. But they gave me a very generous monetary gift through bank transfer already, and they're actually our only gifters so far for the wedding. But they also sent a card, which is so nice. So says happy wedding day, has like little pearls on it, and it says, dearest Stephanie and Bill, wishing you all the very best on your wedding day. May life bring you its sweetest blessings. With love, Jenny and Saskia, who is my niece's name, and I've never actually met her because last time I was in London with family, she was actually pregnant, and I think because she was about to pop, we didn't actually visit her, we just like gave her a ring. But I really want to meet her one day. There we go. These are the columns that we're going to be using for all three events. So for the engagement party and bridal shower, the cake will go on the top one. Same with the actual wedding reception cake. And then 4 of them are going to be used for the florals as a stage decor for the ceremony. So we needed these for pretty much everything, especially in the future when I plan more events, I'll also use them. And they were pretty expensive because they're very in demand. For some reason, only like event planners know where to get them. So otherwise, if you want to hire them, super expensive. So we had to pretty much just cop this price, and it's not made very well either. Like, it's definitely a little bit dented and flimsy already, so we definitely have to be careful like carrying it around. I was waiting for them to get back into stock for so long, it felt like ages, but they're finally here. Is what it looks like. I feel like they're really pretty. They're probably my ideal wedding color because I kind of don't like the more cheesy bright colors. Like, for example, I don't really like light pink personally as a wedding color, so I thought having sort of a darker but like still shimmery and dressy color like this was nice. So I really like this color. It does look similar to my sister's so far, but I'm gonna check its exact shade this time. This is Maddie's, and this is the bridesmaid one next to it. So yeah, definitely looks like an actual match now, which I'm so happy about because if I had to go back a 3rd time, I would actually probably have chucked a fit. So this is gonna look really nice together. We have Maddie's in the more typical satin style. Like, this is very much one of those pajama slip styles that has become popular in the last few years. And then next to it, off shoulder. I would have liked the design from the first bridesmaid dress just because you could take it off the shoulder so they could have a little change for the reception, like subtle but still sweet. But this is still a nice design, even though we can't change it for the reception. So I am still happy with it. It has a nice slit on the side here too, so it does show a bit of skin for the summer. I think it just suits like our vibe of the wedding in general, like modern and classic. So I'm keen to see the bridesmaids wear them. Now I just have to remember each time I meet up with my bridesmaids in the future, I will be giving them each of their dresses, and then they have to try it on and send a photo of themselves in them to our chat so that we can just all check that everyone looks good and just fits into it properly. Doing a little realistic day in the life of planning update. So we're 7 months away, so we're kind of getting there. I think I'll panic a little more when it gets to half a year, and especially after the bridal shower, but I just wanted to do a little rant. I'm just really tired from work, and generally, like, I think my period's coming in like probably the next couple of weeks. But anyway, I just wanted to say that it's so frustrating planning a wedding with so many opinions and questions. Like, I get that some people don't really know how weddings work, or like everyone plans their wedding differently, so it's understandable if people want to clarify a few things, but some questions are so frustrating. Like things like, is it a buffet or a la carte? Is there going to be dietary requirements? Like, yes. Have you never been to like an event? I know a lot of people don't go to functions, but it just frustrates me. Like, maybe it's because I go to quite a lot of weddings in my own life, like for someone my age, I guess, but it's just so frustrating when you have like the plans of the things that you already need to plan, and then you have other people kind of just making it harder for you, like including people who are not RSVPing. I'm like, but I know that you are free. Like, unless you have some kind of trip booked during that time, which is likely an overseas trip if it's booked this far in advance already, then you would already know it and you could have said no already. Like, otherwise you're coming, right? Like, oh, anyway, it's just kind of getting to me, especially because Bill's still applying for jobs, so he doesn't really have time to actually help me out. Like, there are some group chats where he genuinely hasn't even read one message from them, like he hasn't even opened them. And I'm not complaining about him as a fiance or a person, like he's still being great, our relationship's fine right now. It puts a lot more pressure on me. Probably would still be doing the majority of the planning, like the smaller stuff anyway, but it's just like, it feels like I don't really have that support available because he's so focused on something like obviously getting a job, and not just that, but getting a job for post-wedding as well, like not just one for right now. So he's applying for 2 types of jobs.